boogeyman.
Run, Randy, run!
Welcome to the Inferno. I'm Papa John, and I'm here to guide you through all the hellish sides of horror. And if you'd like to join that journey, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well. And today, we are continuing our road to Spiral with a review of Jigsaw. So let's get started. Jigsaw is directed by the Spierig brothers, and basically you have a new group of individuals being trapped by Jigsaw in this fun house escape room torture device stuff. And basically you have the cops looking for this group of people and trying to figure out who the new Jigsaw copycat is. So first I have to talk about the look of the movie. I actually think this movie looks the best. The other movies have some weird aesthetic that just reminds me too much of a CBS procedural. This movie, however, to me actually feels like a movie when I'm watching it. It looks like a movie when I watch it. All of that being said, it's still not one of the best in the franchise. This just felt like a last-ditch effort to capitalize on the success of the John Kramer story, whereas I hope Spiral kind of reboots the franchise and gives us like a new main bad guy other than John Kramer, because John Kramer's whole story is getting way too convoluted and dragged out and everything. And this movie is the epitome of that. Now, the acting is decent enough. It's stale. I don't think it's the worst in the franchise in terms of acting, but in terms of what it kind of does to, I guess, the continuity, I'm not someone that gets too hell-bent on continuity, especially in horror franchises. I tend to view them more as anthologies that just revolve around like a main bad guy or a theme. But a lot of people do care about continuity and stuff, and this movie kind of throws that to shit. Essentially, spoiler alert, the trap storyline in this movie is a prequel to like the first Saw movie, I'm pretty sure. And the traps are so extremely complex, where it makes sense that John Kramer would get more complex with the traps he makes the more he goes along, and so the later sequels being more complex made more sense. Whereas this one, they're like super complex, almost like Saw 6 and Saw 7 complex, and yet it's supposed to take place before the first Saw movie, and that just feels weird to me. The first Saw movie is just two people chained to pipes in a dirty-ass restroom. Where in this one, you have just a bunch of complex things that involve like a motorcycle engine and wheel turning into a silo, and it's just... And then the other thing is, I found this movie extremely predictable. Maybe the most predictable out of any of these movies. And it made everything at the end feel very lackluster and unearned because of how predictable everything was. The fact that it was a prequel, for instance, at least the Traps storyline was a prequel, I predicted that maybe even before we got halfway through the movie. It just seemed obvious with the way the story was going. And I think this is the first movie in the franchise that doesn't really have a clear theme, especially around the trapped individuals, because all of the others, all of the people trapped have clear connections, and there's like this clear theme going through, whether it's like fraud, obsession, caring about your loved ones, valuing the life of your loved ones, whatever the case may be, there's always that theme that goes through the storyline. Whereas this one, it didn't really feel like it had that. It just felt like there were a bunch of people that were responsible for deaths, but that's about it. There's no like connection between them. There's no like thematic connection at all, and it just feels very lackluster in terms. It just feels like he put a bunch of people together. So what circle of hell does Jigsaw belong in? I don't think it's the worst in the franchise, but it is very lackluster and is down there as one of my least favorites. Even so, I actually do think it's the best looking in the franchise, and I think from technical standpoints and camera work and stuff, it is one of the best, and it loses that whole CBS procedural vibe, in my opinion, in its atmosphere. But it's still, like I said, it's not a great movie. It's kind of boring and lackluster, And so I think Jigsaw belongs in the fifth circle of hell as a meh movie. So go ahead and comment your thoughts on Jigsaw in the comment section down below. And as I've gone through all of these previous movies leading up to Spiral, I don't think this franchise is that bad. I don't even think it has like a bottom of the barrel horror movie like most franchises have. At least one movie that's like bottom of the barrel horror. I don't think this franchise actually does. But at the same time, unlike most franchises, I don't quite think it has like a best of the best type of movie in it either. And so it just kind of feels like one of those horror franchises that has some pretty good horror movies, even though none of them are like the best of the best. But at the same time, it continues along without actually falling into bottom of the barrel stuff like you get with like Freddy's Dead, half of the Friday the 13th franchise, or Halloween like Resurrection or stuff like that. And so, anyway, if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and smash that thumbs up icon, smash that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell as well. And as always, have one hell of a good time.